it's shocking to me in the sense of, I actually think that this is an admission that they're never going to get the rates of community spending that they had previously. Twitch is basically Amazon ads. No, they're not basically Amazon ads, but Amazon ads has taken over Twitch's ad sales department. So historically, they had their own. There used to be Twitch advertising.tv, which this is where you would actually get advertising from Twitch. And you would speak to somebody at Twitch with a twitch.tv or a Justin TV email, and everything was through them. But now, unfortunately, everything is through Amazon. So if you want to contact them, you contact Amazon. And so a lot of the people who used to work at Twitch now work at Amazon ads. They've moved the team functionally in terms of the overhead of it from Twitch to Amazon. According to Andrea Garbedian, global director of Twitch's brand partnership studio at Amazon Ads, Twitch's care towards users, and by extensions brands, brand safety, allows the platform to act as a cozy corner. She explains to a group of marketers ahead of TwitchCon that ad monetization is a privilege, not a right, on Twitch, and that viewership and discovery are earned. Nance explains that currently 2/3 of Twitch's revenue comes from subscriptions, compared to, with 1/3 from advertising. A figure Clancy notes a lot of people are surprised by, given most platforms are heavily reliant on ad revenue. It's doubly surprising to critics, he implies, given that the users don't pay for subscriptions to access content. They're paying for patronage and status and reward in the community, he explains. Often when I talk to brands, I say that's an indication of their emotional connection to the streamers and what they're watching. Communicating that emotional transference, as Clancy describes it, has led to increased conversations with advertisers in recent years. He expects ad revenue to increase at a faster rate of growth than subscription revenue. Okay, so if you're a creator, that is a huge bit of information that Twitch is expecting. Twitch is not expecting you to increase your sub revenue. They are expecting to grow ad revenue, with advertising eventually accounting for half of total revenues. Yo, this is actually really interesting to me. Is that surprising? Yes, it is surprising. The reason why that's surprising to me, maybe it's not surprising in the general sense of how media is being consumed these days, but Twitch, again, the current meta of Twitch, the reason why people actually develop community and want to support the creators themselves is because of that sense of community, the patronage model. It is similar to Patreon or OnlyFans. We've talked about that in depth in terms of those are the actual competitors to Twitch. Those are the things that are more akin in terms of how creators earn money. They're effectively saying, and so this is interesting to hear him say, yeah, that model is still going to be around, but we expect it to be only half of people's revenue, with the makeup, the larger makeup of that being ads over the next number of years, however, whatever their time frame is, usually 2 to 3 years. So the platform itself has consistently focused on ads since 2019, 2020. The vast majority of their efforts, especially in 2021, when did they launch the ads incentive program? Is that 2022? Just ads incentive program is great for affiliates. Yeah, so that was 2022. When they originally launched. They launched it in February, and then they released it to all partners in, I want to say the June or July. And then they basically killed it in 2023 with this update. But they've effectively, every single decision and a ton of investment, a ton of time, a ton of effort has gone into ads. We've had more ad formats created. We've had more ads experiments. We've had more people hired in ads departments and than any other department at Twitch. All of a significant portion of Twitch's overall focus for the last number of years has been on ads. And they're now saying that that is only going to grow. And I think this is kind of the interesting thing here. Half of total revenue. Twitch is not growing as a platform. Twitch is not growing as a platform, right? We've known that for a while. We've taken a look at the charts. It's very clear that they are not growing as a platform. You can see it is on a general decline since peaking in May of 2021. We're on a general decline. You can take a look at these charts to kind of get another sense of that, to how it looks overall. This is 2025 down here at the bottom. You know, there's 2023s, there's 2024, there's 2022. It's generally trending down. Let's assume that Twitch stabilizes. Let's assume that Twitch stabilizes. This is 2025. This is 2026. Okay. If you move out all of the fluctuations, the up and down, let's say they get a little bit of growth next year, and we're generally flat for the next 18 months, which would be good. That would be a good thing to stop the bleeding, the overall decline. If it is flat and they expect ad revenue to increase to 50% from its current 33%.
A huge raid.
That can only happen in two ways. Either they do a lot more ads, or the amount of subs goes down. The amount of people that are subscribing to channels goes down. So yes, this does surprise me. To bring it back to Salty saying this surprises you, it does surprise me, because my personal belief is that Twitch's strength is in community. Its strength is in the patronage model. Twitch is much more like Patreon than it is like Netflix or YouTube, in that the relationship of you watching this stream, the value there is to get you to subscribe, to support the content that I'm creating as a result. The interesting thing about Twitch is that because Twitch has a terrible sub split, it is 50% out of the gate, and every single other platform seems to start at about 70. Because Twitch has made it harder for people to actually earn a living by, if you're only getting 50% of the actual sub revenue, it makes way more sense for creators to drive people off platform. Way more sense to do so. And so at the same time as I'm saying that this is shocking to me, it's shocking to me in the sense of, I actually think that this is an admission that they're never going to get the rates of community spending that they had previously. Because I don't think that they're going to have a rate of growth on fan funding at all. I think it'll be a declining number. I think, and so the extrapolation here for creators is understand that the future of Twitch is ads. It is not making money from subs and bits. That is a side piece. The actual thing that Twitch is going to want and push towards is ads. It's been such a frustrating thing for me on this platform since the ads incentive program that Twitch has essentially incentivized you to run ads, ignore chat. If people say, hey, the ads are annoying, just ignore them. Just pretend they don't exist and just continue to push through, because eventually, hopefully, Twitch is basically relying on the fact that those people like you enough that they're just going to sit through that. And I guess they're right. But it drives me crazy. There's been so many occasions where I'll join a stream and I'm lurking and I just pick the worst time possible. And I'm just like, hey, how's it going? And then they're like, oh, hey, Zach, I'm just doing this thing. I'm like, fuck, ad, miss it. It's so frustrating to me. And again, I don't say anything to anybody because, of course, I'm not going to do that. TCAN just admits he ignores when my ads run. Everybody does it. That's going to be, and again, it's my own problem. There's obviously ways that I could get around it. Of course, I could buy turbo. I understand that. I understand. But that's going to become the norm. I feel like, and I've said this consistently, that Twitch's approach to that is at odds with the patronage model of respecting the overall user themselves. It's disrespectful to be like, oh yeah, here's the content that you can't watch for 3 minutes and you just missed the boss fight or you missed me addressing your question or whatever. And now the ad is over and you come back and I'm like, hey, can you repeat it? And then if I say that, I'm an asshole. because your actual thing that you're going to say to me is, yeah, just go click the VOD and watch it back. I'm not going to repeat what I just said 3 minutes ago. So again, not all of you guys, some of you, Brian McBain is, I usually pause what I'm doing while ads are playing. Lava's good at it. Slashy's good at it. I'm not saying it's everybody, but it happens more frequently than it doesn't happen in terms of when ads run, and that the ads just go. And that's for people who are running 3 minutes of ads per hour, right? That's only one ad break that they have to worry about. It's easy to account for that if you're a streamer. It's easy to account for that if you're a streamer. But once you start doing 15 minutes, so that there's a 3-minute ad break every 12 minutes or something, there's no chance that any streamer can account for that. You can't do it. It's an impossible task. So Twitch's future is not necessarily... Twitch's past has been about deep, meaningful communication and community, that you're connecting with an audience directly, and you're building a level of trust there, and community is social, blah, 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 all the buzzwords that people are talking about. But the future of Twitch is not that. The future of Twitch is you create content that ads play on. That's it. That is the value exchange by definition of the platform's overall mission. But I have a weird feeling that's not going to play out the way that Twitch wants it to play out. I have a weird feeling that's not going to play out the way that Twitch wants it to play out. And so as we're seeing the overall decline here, what is the commonality of the peak and the constant drain? The launch of the ads incentive program, the launch of the ad scheduler, the launch of 55% split on ads. It may not be directly correlated in the sense of, well, the pandemic had this massive effect of boosting things up, right? It did, understandably, and people went back to work. But the last 2 years, it doesn't make much sense. Technically, the last 3 years, it doesn't make as much sense. That narrative doesn't make as much sense. You can say that, okay, yeah, well, there's some back to work, there's some of this, some of that. But my feeling is that it's all those things combined, but it's also the ads. The amount of ads has dramatically increased. And I think that just annoys people. And so I think that people are kind of going, there's just so many ads. I think this is going to drive people away from the platform. And it seems like it has. So the future of Twitch feels like it's going to be a smaller platform that is ad-driven, where the reason you're actually watching, or the reason you're creating, is to earn ad revenue. And the reason why I say I don't think that's going to go the way that Twitch is going, Twitch wants it to go, I think you're going to find that people are going to find alternatives of where to stream and where to consume content that is a little bit less disruptive. As I've always said about live content, it is a different thing. It is a different thing. Live content is very different than a YouTube video. And an ad pausing content on a YouTube video is fine because it picks back up right afterwards. But in live content, you don't get that. Even again, the best example is live sports. Live sports don't run ads in the middle of fourth down with 17 seconds to go in a 23-21 game. They don't do that.
To 100.
They'll wait. There's specific TV timeouts. There's specific referees will call timeouts so that ads can run in the NHL. In football, soccer, ads run around the stadium and then in the middle, but there's very rarely, if any, interruption for that 45 minutes of gameplay. That's more akin to what Twitch's experience is, but Twitch is applying the approach of TV without the actual scheduled planned breaks. So I think this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. But I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge, and I haven't been in charge, and I won't be in charge. But this is where things are going, and they're now saying it overtly. He expects ad revenue to increase at a faster rate of growth than subscription revenue, meaning more ads, less fan funding, with advertiser eventually accounting for half of total revenue. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click like and subscribe to my newsletter at tos.gg or come watch me live at tos.gg/live.